Hello there, and welcome to the How to Market Your Horse Business podcast. I am so glad you're joining me here today. Now, before we dive into our topic for today about social media, I'm going to quickly introduce myself just in case we are new friends, and then we'll dive right in. Now, as I said, my name is Denise Alvarez, and through my business, Storm Lily Marketing, I get to help dream-chasing horse business owners like yourself to ditch the marketing overwhelm and the business overwhelm, right? The business side of things, so that you can get the clarity you've been craving, so you can grow your business in a way that meets your definition of success. Now, I do this primarily through business coaching and then education as well, such as this podcast, and I have some online learning resources for you also. All that I do, friends, is because I want to help you as an equestrian entrepreneur to be out in the barn or the arena or behind the camera lens or even behind the computer doing what it is that you love to do in the equine industry. And so here on the podcast, you can expect a mix of step-by-step strategies, essential how-tos, and entrepreneurial mindset shifts that will help you not only see what's possible for your business, but I'm also here to guide you through that process so you can make it happen. And today we are doing that by way of diving into 6 costly social media mistakes that are holding back your equine business. Now, the reason we're diving into this is because I know that many of you are saying, Denise, social media is a struggle. And particularly, I'm not getting how to grow my business on social media. And we're going to dive into why posting and ghosting is not the way to bring in clients, some of the biggest mistakes that equestrian entrepreneurs are making when it comes to social media. And in case you're new here, if you're not new here, I should say this. If you're not new here, this won't surprise you. You're going to get some actionable steps to make social media work for your business. Here on the How to Market Your Horse Business podcast, the other thing is you're always going to get action, okay? So you're here to learn. 100% I'm here to help you and then give you the actionable steps that you can take that will make a difference for you. Now, here's what we're going to do, okay? I'm going to highlight a mistake, and then I'm going to give you a do this instead, okay? Because if you are showing up on social media, but you are not seeing the results that you're after. Now, by the way, when I talk about results, and we'll talk about this, I'm not talking about results in terms of followers. I'm talking about literally growing your business, okay? It's not that you're doing everything wrong. You just need a plan that works. You need some things that work, okay? But in that process, it's important to understand things that you may be doing, mistakes that you may be making that are not working, that are keeping you from finding clients and customers that you would love to work with using social media. Okay, so as a reminder, or in case you're new here, you can get the highlights of today's episode on my website. I always have show notes for the episode. And therefore, if you are listening on the road or mucking stalls or multitasking in whatever way, I see you, I hear you, I do the same thing. And I want you to be able to go back if you need to look at something that you may have missed or you wanted to jot down something and didn't have a piece of paper. So if you go to Storm Lily, which is LILY.com/177 for episode 177, you will get the highlights for today's episode and any links I might mention. Everything will be there for you. All right? Okay, friends, let's dive in. The first costly mistake that you may be making when it comes to social media is not showing up consistently. Now, here's a question for you. If you post for 7 days in a row, and then you don't post for 3 months, and then you post again for 7 days in a row because you get on a hot streak, what kind of results do you expect from that? I wouldn't exactly call that consistent, and I'm guessing you wouldn't either. Now, on the other hand, if you post 3 times a week for 3 months, do you think you're more likely to see a return? And the answer is yes. Now, of course, the content that you are posting has a lot to do with the results in terms of bookings and clients and things like that. But I'm also sure that you can see that your potential reach and engagement are much higher when you show up on a consistent basis. You're feeding the algorithm with the information to let them know your page is active, and you're feeding your followers content that they can engage with and continue to engage with. And so it increases the chances of your content getting in front of more of the right people. Now, when I say consistent, I do not mean every day is required. And I want you to hear that. I didn't say not showing up every day. Now, when you show up every day with consistently engaging content, is that going to be more fruitful? Yes. But what I want you to hear right now is the mistake that many of you are making is getting really on fire and showing up for 5 days in a row or 7 days in a row, and then feeling the burnout coming because it's not sustainable for you in the capacity that you have right now. And so then you stop. And so that is what the mistake is, okay? Now, sometimes what will happen is that I will hear from somebody, Denise, social media is not working for me. And then I get on and I see that what I just shared with you, I see that they've shown up and then they haven't shown up for a long time and then they show up. And what I want to remind you is that you do not get fruit from the work that you don't do. So you cannot complain about the results you didn't get from the work that you didn't do. If you didn't post consistently, then you're correct. Social media is not working for you, okay? So let me say something real quick about that, because that's not a quote of mine. It's inspired by a quote that is one of my favorites. It says, don't complain about what you didn't get because of the work you didn't put in. Believe it or not, it's from hip hop artist Ice Cube. So I don't want to take any credit for that. That was my paraphrase of his quote. Okay. But here's what I want you to do instead. Okay. So if you're not showing up consistently, you're saying, Denise, what do I do? I want you to commit to a consistent cadence that meets your capacity. Yes, that's a lot of C's, I know. Commit to a consistent cadence that meets your capacity. That is what's going to help you show up on social media and get the results that you're after. All right, that was mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 that is holding back your equine business when it comes to social media is not putting your energy into one platform. In other words, you are a little bit of here, there, and everywhere. You're giving a little bit to each platform where you have a presence, and then you're wondering why it's not working. Now, I understand that this one can be scary because when I tell you to focus on one platform, fear sets in pretty quickly. But I'm going to tell you to do that, okay? Now, I understand that FOMO is real, the fear of missing out, right? Denise, if I only focus on one platform, then I'm not going to reach the people on this other platform. And you are right. If you focus on one, you might miss out on some people that are on the other. But here's the reality, okay? I want you to be honest about the stage and season of your business right now. I am not saying that you should never be on multiple platforms or even have a presence on multiple platforms. But if you're listening to this episode, it's because you're struggling to see results from social media. And so then my question to you is, if your energy and attention is divided, why do you expect to see big results? You only have 100% effort to give to anything. So if you think of it this way, you have 3 different platforms. You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook, you're on TikTok. You're giving 33% effort to each of those, potentially, okay? And this is, of course, in addition to the other hats that you wear in your business. So if you're giving 33% effort to 3 platforms, or you're focusing on one platform and giving all of your energy and effort there, which one do you think is more likely to help you book the clients and customers that you want to work with using social media? I'm hoping that you see that when you divide your attention, your results will be minimized, okay? Again, I'm not saying that you should never have a presence on any or multiple platforms. I hope you are hearing me loud and clear. We are diagnosing a problem, a mistake that you are making that's keeping you from seeing results. And for some of you, it is divided attention. So what do we do instead? Give yourself permission to pick one platform. Now, in doing that, I'm hoping that you also know your numbers. So let me just give you an example. If you're a horse trainer or a lesson program, If you had one platform and you got 10 solid leads a month that turned into clients, would that boost the results in your business? I have a feeling it would. And if you focus on one platform, you can get those. Now, of course, that's an example of a service-based business, a one-on-one business. If you're someone who's selling online digital resources, you're saying, Denise, I need more than 10 leads a month. I need a lot more people coming in. And so I feel like I need to be more places. Again, you can still scale on one platform and get a lot of leads, make a big impact on one platform if you focus your energy there, okay? So give yourself permission to pick one platform. So the next question is, how do you know which one to pick? And I have 2 questions for you to consider in that as you decide what works well for you. 1, where is your best fit audience most likely to be found? That's going to be a really good place to focus your energy and effort. Secondly, where are you most likely to go in and engage consistently? Now, here's why I say this. Again, when it comes to success on social media, I'm looking at the big picture for you as an equestrian entrepreneur. And if you are in a coaching capacity with me, and every month we are getting on a coaching call and you're saying, Denise, I'm doing this, but I literally hate opening my phone because I just don't enjoy this app, right? I don't enjoy going on whatever it is. Then it's not going to be the most sustainable option for you. Okay. If you truly are like, I just can't stand this one, and I know my people are on multiple platforms, then I want you to pick the one that you're most likely to actually want to open up your phone, go in and have conversations with people on. Because it's not just about, I'm not saying that because it's like everything should be fun and, it's not going to be hard work. Whatever you pick, you're going to have to go in and put in the work. We've already established that, right? So why not pick the one that you actually enjoy connecting with people on? You can see fruit from it. You are actually more prone to open up your phone and do those things. That is going to be the better solution and the better choice for you as you're deciding which platform to select, okay? All right, so that is mistake number 2. You're not putting your energy into one platform, but we're going to fix that by giving yourself permission to pick one and focus your energy and effort on that. Now, let me say one more thing before we move on to the third mistake about this, okay? Because I'm hearing some of you already in my head, and I know that you're thinking, okay, Denise, are you telling me I need to close down my other profiles that I've already got, like 5? No, not necessarily. Here's an idea or a solution I'm just going to run by you, okay? So if you're saying, I'm going to pick Facebook, and I'm really going to focus my energy and effort there. So I'm going to post 3 times a week because we've already picked a consistent cadence. I'm going to post 3 times a week, and I'm going to go in and engage with other people. I'm going to get outside of my bubble. I'm going to apply the other things I've learned here on the podcast on Facebook. I'm not going to try to do that on Facebook and Instagram. I'm just going to do it on Facebook. If you want to still post on Instagram to keep your profile looking alive for when people find you, go for it. Like, that's not going to hurt you, okay? So you can keep your other profiles alive and put some content on them so they still look alive. But if you're really going for results, okay, you're going to focus that energy on the one. Okay, I hope that helps you. All right, mistake number 3. You are not creating content with your best fit audience in mind. That is the third costly mistake that I see happening often with equestrian entrepreneurs. And here's my reminder to you, okay? And for some of you, when you hear this, you still kind of recoil a little bit. But I'm going to remind you that you are not for anybody and everybody. You're not for any horse and every horse. Even if the methods that you teach, the products that you create can technically work for everyone, or your saddle is so versatile, or your products are so created for every horse in mind, every rider in mind, that does not mean that every horse owner is your right buyer. Okay, so when you're creating content, we're creating it for our best fit audience, not just anyone who this could work for. They may not align with your philosophies. They may not have your teaching style. They may not agree with you. Those are not your best fit audience. So if you want to build your horse business using social media, you have to stop trying to talk to everyone in your messaging. That includes the content that you create. You need to get specific about who it is that you are best suited to help and create content that speaks directly to them, their problems, their desires, what they enjoy, what their mindset is, the identity that they are aiming to pursue. All of those things are specific to your best fit audience. And when you understand those things, then you can create content that attracts them to you and to your business. And so you can use your audience, knowing all those things about them, as a filter for the content you create on social media. So how do we, quote unquote, fix this mistake? Here's what I want you to do instead. I want you to get out a piece of paper and spend 15 minutes, set yourself a timer, writing down everything you know about your best fit audience, the people you love to work with, the people you are best suited. It lights you up. It sets you on fire. Get specific, allow yourself to niche down, think about the people that already buy from you that you want to duplicate. Write down the things that you love about them, write down the things they believe when it comes to horse care, when it comes to training, when it comes to riding. What are some of the mindsets? What are some of their struggles? I have a feeling once you get started, it'll be hard to turn it off, okay? So that's what I want you to do. I want you to get really focused on that best fit audience and then create content from the outflow of that, knowing that what you create is going to attract those people to you. All right, mistake number 4. The fourth mistake that I see many equestrian entrepreneurs making when it comes to growing your business on social media is you are not making the ask. One of the reasons you are likely struggling to book clients and customers or sell products using social media is that you are forgetting to actually invite people to buy or to book or to apply, whatever that next step is in becoming your client and customer. Now, yes, valuable and engaging content is key to building your equine business on social media. But if all you ever do is educate or even entertain, and you don't provide an easy way for them to work with you, then it makes sense that you're not getting the bookings or the sales that you had hoped would come with your time on social media. My question to you is, do your followers know how they can work with you, how to buy from you, or how to shop with you? Now, some of you are making this mistake almost intentionally because it's based out of fear. So you know you've not been asking. When I say this, you're like, oh, yeah, that's me. I don't want to look salesy. I don't want people to not follow me because I'm trying to sell. And I understand that. But remember, you are a business. And in order to stay in business, you need to make a profit. And to do that, you need to sell. Now, I appreciate that you are wise and aware of how selling all the time can be detrimental to your social media efforts. But don't let that keep you from ever asking for the sell. Now, for some of you, the flip side is actually true. Some of you are listening and actually you're doing the opposite. Every single time you post, you're selling something. Constantly in your feed are posts about how they can work with you and what you're selling, and I have openings. And what's happening is people are ignoring your content because you have not given them any value ahead of time. You've not given them a reason to engage with your content. All you're doing is selling, and so it's falling flat. So I realize that's two different audiences that I'm talking to, but the reality is it all centers around the ask. So my advice to you is no matter which side of the coin you're on, whether you never ask or you ask too much, I want you to employ the 80-20 rule. Make 80% of your social media content valuable, fun, engaging, educational, behind the scenes, insightful, thought-provoking. And then use the other 20% to make the ask. All right? So what I want you to do instead is sell 20% of the time, make the ask, and serve 80% of the time. Now, a quick reminder on this, when you make the ask, remember to make it easy to take action. So if you're making a post and it's going on Instagram and you say, click here, they cannot click in Instagram. So tell them what to do. Should they leave a comment? Should they go to your link in bio? What do you want them to do for you to follow up with them, for them to take action? If they're on Facebook, you can provide a link for them to click on, or tell them to send you a message, or tell them what you want them to do, okay? Don't just say, I have openings. Tell them the next step. All right, that is mistake number 4, friends. You're doing so good. 2 more. Oh, I'm just kidding. Yeah, 2 more, 5 and 6. All right, mistake number 5. The mistake you're making on social media is you are not moving your followers onto your email list. Now, I'm going to open this mistake with an important reminder to remind you that you do not own anything when it comes to social media. In case you have not heard me talk about this before, you do not own access to your followers. You do not own the content that you are uploading or creating on the platform. And you don't get to decide if, when, or how your account is hacked or shut down and you completely lose access to all of those followers you work so hard to get. Now, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. Social media is a great tool, 100%. Yet, if you want to build a sustainable equine business, you should not be relying 100% on social media for your marketing and long-term strategy planning. This mistake is more costly than you realize when you have access to your account. But what happens when your account randomly gets hacked or shut down and you're starting over from scratch? If you have an email list of qualified leads, you're not starting from scratch. Now, one other reason I want you to invite them onto your email list is just statistics. The chances of them seeing your social media post are much lower than the chances of them opening your emails. Specifically, organically, which means no money behind it, you're going to get 3 to 5% of your followers to see your content organically. Yes, that will ebb and flow, but that is the average. Versus a 25 to 30% average open rate when it comes to emails. So if you just go by the numbers, you can see the value of getting people from social media onto your email list. So what I want you to do to fix this mistake is to begin providing something of value in exchange for email addresses. Incentivize them with something that is actually valuable. And then I want you to remember to share about that on social media at least once a month. Do a post. You can even put it in your stories more than once a month for sure. But at least once a month, remind people that you have an email list that you are serving. Tell them what's valuable about it. Invite them to get on. Again, back to the previous reminder, give them a clear call to action. Tell them what to do and how they can go on your email list. Okay? All right, this is our final mistake that many of you are making, and it is holding you back in your equine business. It's keeping you from seeing the results that you want to see from the time you spend on social media. And that mistake is that you are not measuring what matters. When it comes to social media, you have been measuring the wrong thing. Follower count can be meaningful when it comes to building your horse business online. Now, looking back at those numbers we just discussed, organically, if you're thinking 3 to 5% of your followers, if you have 1,000 followers, you're going to get less views than someone who has 10,000 followers. That's just math. But follower count by itself is not really a meaningful measurement to tell you if you're getting results from social media, right? You need to think about what does results look like for you and how can you measure the things that are going to help you get those results. Now, I can tell you, friends, if you go find me on Instagram, which I hope you will, Storm Lily Marketing, my follower count is not huge. Now, I am one of those people who blocks and removes spam followers because I like to go to my follower list and find people to engage with. I know not everybody does that, so I know that that's impacted my follower count. At the same time, I don't go through and follow a ton of people just to get follows back. And yet, some of my best clients that I've worked with for years and some that I just started working with in the past year have come from one-on-one conversations in the direct messages on Instagram. And so you have to ask yourself, am I trying to just get more followers or am I trying to get more of the right fit people that are good for my business? Right? So I don't create content with followers as my end goal because for me, one-on-one clients and business coaching is where it's at. Now for you, that may look a little bit different. And And it's for sure, followers is not something that's wrong to pay attention to and grow. But what I want you to pay attention to and grow is, are you getting the right followers in the door? Are people sending you messages? Are people booking introductory calls or introductory lessons or trials or getting on your email list based off of what you're putting on social media? That's what I want you to consider measuring. The other thing that you can measure is how many posts you're actually putting out there, because that's something that you can control, right? So as I'm coaching clients and take the reins, I'm quick to remind them that as we create their customized marketing dashboard and we're measuring what matters, and we are looking at some social media numbers, we're looking at what they can control and what's truly related to their success as it relates to social media. So that is, friends, what I want to encourage you to do instead. Instead of just measuring the things that you can see right on the outset, instead of just measuring that, what I want you to measure is the things that you control and the things that you are related to your success on social media. So perhaps it is the number of times you go live. Perhaps it is you're going to measure every month how many posts you put out there, how many stories you did each week, how many times you invited people to get on your email list, the number of new followers that you engaged in conversations with who actually booked an introductory call, or the number of lessons booked. Either way, what you can see here is I want you to pay attention to the things that really matter when it comes to the return on investment of your time on social media. And I've talked to plenty of clients, and I've done some clarity coaching calls with clients that just were did a 60-minute clarity coaching call session. And they're saying, hey, I've got 10,000 followers, but I'm not getting conversions. What's the missing link, right? So it's not just follower count that needs to be measured. Now, one other reminder that I have for you is that how you feel matters as well. And so you can actually measure that. Because if you're posting 5 days a week and you feel burnt out and like you just spent half your life on social media and you're missing out on other parts of the business that you love and enjoy, that matters. And so that's why on the dashboard that we create and take the reins, I have my clients answer specific questions about how they feel in their business. Because as an equestrian entrepreneur, you need to take a comprehensive look at the business you're building and what success means to you. And 100% social media can be a part of that, but I want you to think long-term. I want you to think sustainable. Okay, so the way that you feel about how you approach it and the results that you're getting absolutely matters. Now remember, social media marketing is an important component of your overall marketing strategy, but it should not be the whole of it. And if it's impacting your level of joy in your business, it doesn't mean you have to throw in the towel. Instead, stop and evaluate. Consider looking into a business coach. Consider looking into Take the Reins, a way for you to get some help strategizing your marketing and your overall marketing plan so that you can make this most powerful tool, you can make the most of this powerful tool, which is social media, while building a sustainable equine business. So I want to invite you, if that sounds like something you need, if you're hearing me talk about the business coaching aspect and thinking, wow, I didn't even know that was an option for me as an equine business owner, then I would invite you to take a look at Take the Reins, my one-on-one coaching program. I'm going to help you ditch the overwhelm, get the clarity you crave, and create a cohesive marketing strategy for your business that helps you to meet your version of success. So I invite you to check that out. If you go to stormlily.com/reins, then you can learn more about that, what that entails, who it's really best fit for, what is included, what's not included. And if you have questions about that, please send me a message at any time. I'd be happy to chat with you. I would be honored to come alongside you and help you in your journey. But either way, I'm coming alongside you here on the podcast. So I hope these costly social media mistakes have opened your eyes to something new when it comes to how you approach social media for your equine business. And I hope that you will pick at least one. So my encouragement to you is always taking action. That's where the magic happens. So now that you've listened to all of these costly social media mistakes that may be holding you back in your business, my encouragement to you is to take one thing that you've learned from today and start taking action. If you try to take all 6, you're probably going to land in that burnt out, overwhelmed spot, and that's not my hope for you. So pick one today that you're going to focus on, and then come back and pick another one. Okay. So keep chipping away at it. That is how you're going to make it work for you and your business. Thank you so much for joining me here. If this has been helpful to you, I would love to hear from you. Send me a note, leave a review on Apple Podcasts so that other equine entrepreneurs can find this content as well, and share it with a friend. I am sure that you've got in your mind this person that you guys have sat and talked about how frustrating social media is. Send this episode to them. Let them know there is help available. All right. Thanks so much for joining me here today. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll see you back here next week